Good morning, class 6. This is your English teacher, Sir Sanjay. Today I shall explain you the first lesson of English Honeysuckle textbook called Who Did Patrick's Homework. Now, before we begin, I would like to present you a brief summary so as to give you an idea of what we are going to study further. This is the story of a young boy called Patrick, a boy who is just as old as you are. Now, Patrick is a bright young boy, but he has one wrong habit, and the habit is he does not like doing homework as well as he likes doing other activities. Now, as the story moves on, we'll find that Patrick meets a young elf. Elf is a short-statured man. Patrick meets a young elf who is in some sort of trouble, being chased by a cat. So Patrick in a way decides to save the elf, with the elf making a promise to grant him a wish. And what sort of wish will it be? Let's find out. Now, before we move on to further explanation, I would like to give you some sort of word meaning. See, Nintendo, you'll come across two new words. Nintendo is a video game. Ignoramus means an ignorant person who lacks education. Alright, so basically we are going to study about Patrick and his struggles with books and doing homework on regular basis. Now in the next slide I'll be taking you to my mobile screen and then giving you detailed explanation of this chapter. Stay tuned. Alright class, now it's time that I give you detailed explanation of the lesson. Like I said in the beginning, the name of the lesson is Who Did Patrick's Homework? To make the lesson and the explanation more interesting, I shall be using digital tool like eraser, pen, pencil, highlighter as and when required. Alright. So like I said in the beginning, is the first lesson of the English text called Honeysuckle. The name of the lesson is Who Did Patrick's Homework? Alright. Who did Patrick's homework? And here is our main man, Patrick. Okay. So let's start reading without further delay. Patrick never did his homework. Too boring, he said. He played hockey and basketball and Nintendo instead. His teachers told him, Patrick, do your homework or you won't learn a thing. And it's true. Sometimes he did feel like an ignoramus. But what could he do? He hated homework. Then one day, he found his cat playing with a little doll and he grabbed it away. To his surprise, it wasn't a doll. Okay, moving on to next page. It wasn't a doll at all, but a man of the tiniest size. Tiny means small, as you all know. He had a little wool shirt with old-fashioned breeches and a high tall hat, much like a witch's. He yelled, "Save me! Don't give me back to that cat. I'll grant you a wish. I promise you that." Okay. So let me break up this paragraph that I've just read. So Patrick basically never did his homework. Alright. He never did his homework. And according to him, his homeworks were too boring. They were boring sort of subject. He never liked doing homework. And what did he like instead? He liked playing hockey and basketball. You know what hockey is, right? It's basically a bat ball sort of game where there are two goalkeepers and then the ball is, being played and passed between players who try to score a goal. And then Nintendo. What Nintendo is, it's a video game. Alright. So Patrick basically was a boy who loved playing games, but when it came to in terms of doing homework, he wouldn't enjoy it as much as doing other activities. Alright. His teachers would rebuke him, scold him, saying, Patrick, do your homework or you won't learn a thing. And it came true because sometimes he felt like an ignoramus. He felt like an ignorant person, one who had no considerable knowledge of certain things. Alright. But what could he do? He hated homework. So one day, what happened? He found his cat playing with a little doll. What was his cat playing with? Playing with a little doll. Alright. As soon as he saw this, since he was, playful by nature, he grabbed it away. He grabbed the doll away. And he was surprised to find that it wasn't actually a doll. Okay. So, what was it? Let's find out. As he observed it minutely, carefully, he found out that it wasn't a dog but a man. He was a man of the tiniest size. He was tinier. He was the tiniest thing that Patrick had ever seen. You could imagine to the cat. This man appeared like a doll. Not to the cat. To be precise, it appeared like a doll to Patrick at first. So this also tells us about the size of the elf. All right. So he had a little wool shirt. This man wore a little woolen shirt with old-fashioned breeches. Sorry, the screen has disintegrated. I'll try to bring it back. So this elf, he had a little woolen shirt with old-fashioned breeches. So what is the meaning of the word breech? Let me explain you. Breech or breeches are short trousers. The writer here spells it for fun to rhyme with the word witches. Alright. So this is nothing. Breeches are short trousers. So he wore woolen shirt and short trousers. Okay. And as though he was in big trouble, he yelled, Save me! Don't give me back to that cat. I'll grant you a wish. I promise you that. Okay. So these words were spoken by whom? These words were spoken by none other than the elf himself, the tiny man. Okay. So now Patrick would be happy because by saving the elf, he would be getting something in return. This is what he, made out of the situation. Like the elf, promised. Okay. So let's continue reading. Sorry. Okay. Let's read the third one now. There are a few technical glitches. Okay. So Patrick couldn't believe how lucky he was. Here was the answer to all of his problems. So he said, Only if you do all my homework till the end of the semester. That's 35 days. If you do good enough job, I could even get A's. Grade A. Alright. The little man's face wrinkled like dishcloth thrown in the hamper. He kicked his leg and doubled his fist, and he grimaced and scowled and pursed his lips. Oh, am I curse? But I'll do it. Okay. So Patrick. Now let me give you explanation. Patrick, started cashing in on the situation. He thought now it's the opportunity. I will make the elf do the thing that he hated the most. I'll tell him to complete all the homework that I've been, lacking or not been doing as well as I should have been doing. So he kept a condition before elf that only if the elf, completes all his homework for a period of 35 days, then only give me a moment, students. Okay. Yeah. Okay, please hold on. Please hold on. Yeah. So only if you do a homework till the end of semester, that's 35 days. If you do good enough job, I could even get A. So clearly Patrick was willing the elf to complete his homework in the wake of serving the elf. All right, so it was a give and sort of policy. Okay, so the elf hated it. He hated it. The little man's face wrinkled like discloth thrown in hamper. So what is the meaning of word discloth? Let's find it out here. Discloth is a word. I'll get back to this one, don't worry. Yeah, please bear with me while I'm setting this thing up. Yeah, so discloth basically is a thing used for washing dishes. Clear? Hamper is a basket with a lid. Grimace is a word that means scowl. Grimace, scowl, purses left. The words are explained in detail. Sorry. So he says his face had this expression showing disgust, anger, and disapproval. Clear? So clearly the elf did not like whatever was being. So clearly the elf did not like whatever was being told by the young boy. All right. So now I'll explain you fifth para, which reads, and true to his words, the little elf began to do Patrick's homework, except that there was one glitch. Okay, here is one new word, glitch. Can you see the highlighted one? Glitch. The elf didn't always know what to do and he needed help. Help me, he would say, and Patrick would have to help in whatever way. So the elf stayed true to his word. He kept his promise and he started helping Patrick in completing his homework. Okay, but there was one problem, one glitch. What does the word glitch mean? Let's see here. Glitch, it's an informal word. It means a fault in a machine that prevents it from working properly. Here, hitch or problem. Alright, so there was one basic problem. Okay. Now let me continue reading. Stay on. I don't know this word. The elf squeaked. Okay. While reading Patrick's homework, get me a dictionary. Dictionary, you all know, it's a word. It's a book containing word and its meaning. No, what's even better? Look up the word and sound it out by each letter. Okay. So the elf had a problem. Whenever he was trying to complete homework, he'll have difficulty with understanding words and their meanings. Okay, so he demanded Patrick that he should give him a dictionary. The demand went on to next level when he asked Patrick to read each and every word, explain the meaning to him so that he is able to complete them. Okay, let's continue. See, he shrieked. We came across a new word on para 6 called shrieked. Okay, the meaning of this word is, a short high pitched cry. Okay, now let's read the next para 6. Here we go. Yeah, let me pull it back a bit. Stay with me. So when it came to maths, Patrick was out of luck. What are timetables? The elf shrieked. Okay, wheels never had that. Wheels never need that. Okay, so when it came to in terms of this maths, the problems were going to get bigger for Patrick. Why? Because the elf claimed, "What are timetables?" He shrieked, means he cried out in high pitched cry. Like, what are timetables? Wheels never need that. Alright. And addition and subtraction and division and fraction. Here, sit down beside me, you simply must guide me. The elf demanded that Patrick must guide him in completing the homework. Okay. Elves know nothing of human history. So he went on to tell him that elves had no idea of what human history is or was. To them, it's a mystery. Mystery, right? Something that is not understandable to basic level of human understanding. So the little elf already shouter just got louder. Go to the library. I need books, more books, and you can help me read them too. Okay. So in a way, the elf was more or less. Sorry, I'll get back to that. So in a way, the elf was more or less dependent upon this Patrick, the young boy Patrick, to complete his homework, because he had no idea of human history. To him, human history was nothing but mystery. So the little elf already a shouter. Shouter means a person who shouts and squeaks and makes weird noise while a task is being assigned to them. And you can help me read them too. This is what he said. Okay, are we clear up to here? It's not difficult, general conversation and the way it turned out between them. Now I'll read para 7 for you all. Stay tuned. Here we go. 7. Okay, I'll just shorten it up a bit. Yeah, that's readable. So para 7. Yeah. As a matter of fact, every day, in every way, that little elf was a nag. Okay. So in every way, the little elf proved to be a nag. Now what is the meaning of the word nag? It's written here for you. I'll highlight it. Sorry, I'll just pull it further. Yeah. See, nag is a person who troubles someone all the time by complaining or asking them to do something. Okay. So in a way, this little elf was nothing but a nag. He kept complaining about things that were assigned to him, and in a way kept irritating Patrick. Okay, in order to get the work accomplished. Okay, I'll continue reading. We are here now. Patrick. Yeah, we are here. So Patrick was working harder than ever, and was it a drag? Drag here means something dull and uninteresting. Okay, so Patrick was working harder than he had ever worked. Clear? It felt uninteresting and drag, sort of boring thing for him. He was staying up nights, had never felt so weary. He was so tired. Weary means tired. He was going to school with eyes puffed and bleary. Okay, so he had sort of swollen eyes, which reflected that he had been working hard and staying up late at nights. Okay, so this is what he had been doing. The lazy Patrick had now suddenly turned up to be hardworking, well-natured person. Am I clear? Yeah. So moving on. Para 8. Here we go. Finally, the last day of school arrived. The day Patrick had longed, had wished for. Okay. And the elf was free to go, because the promise was that he would be staying with him until completion of homework, till the last day of school. And now, since the last day of school has arrived, the elf was ready to go, free to go. As for homework, there was no more. So he quietly and slyly slipped out of the back door. Okay, quietly, without making any noise, and slyly, very secretively, without letting anyone know, he slipped out of the back door. Okay, this is what the elf did. I guess I'm clear here. Now the Patrick got his A's. His classmates were amazed. The same Patrick whose grades were usually very poor now ended up getting A's in homework. It was some sort of magical moment for Patrick. His classmates were amazed. His teachers smiled and were full of praise. And his parents, they wondered what had happened to Patrick. He was now the model kid. Okay, someone people look up to. He was now the model kid. Cleaned his room, did his chores. Chores means daily household work, routine work like washing clothes, taking bath, maintaining study room table, keeping them clean and tidy. Alright. So he was some sort of developed guy. Okay. He cleaned his room, he did his chores, was cheerful, he was never rude, like he had developed a whole new attitude. He was a totally different person, to be precise. So this is what, the Patrick who used to be this lazy, timid sort of person, not timid, lazy sort of person who found solace in just playing games and doing all those things, had now found himself that with a little bit of hard work one can improve his grades and set himself up to be a role model. Okay, and now let's read the last para. You see, in the end, Patrick still thought he had made the tiny man do all his homework. So Patrick had still been thinking that all his work had been done by Elf, but in reality it was Patrick who completed everything, because he stayed up till late night, he brought dictionary, he wrote this, he completed his maths homework. In a way, he went through lots of effort and hard work, okay, which resulted in to him getting A grades and all. But I'll share a secret. I'm getting back to text. But I'll share a secret just between you and me. It wasn't the elf. Patrick had done it himself. Okay. So, interesting story written by Carol Moore. So, in the end, the writer says that it's a secret that the homework was all done by Patrick himself. Okay. So, the coming of this elf in the life of Patrick was nothing but some sort of lesson to teach him that one should not be dependent and one is full of potential and capability. We should realize what we are capable of doing and then without wasting time should go on and complete our task. Alright. Thank you children for listening. If you have any query or difficulty in understanding with this lesson, I shall explain you in detail in the next class. And in the next class I'll go through exercises briefly. The notes I am sure have already been given. I'll just summarize them and then the things will be easy. Thank you everyone. Let's wind up the class for today.